instrument is used to measure light intensity in water? The process by which an amino acid loses its amino group is called? What phenomenon prevents raindrops from leaking through an umbrella?
Surface tension.
The product formed when carbon burns in excess supply of oxygen is? An element Y forms an oxide Y2O3. What is the valency of Y? Which super spark is going to make it to the semi-final? The deliberate removal of trees from the forest without replacement. Which element in group 1 exists as a gas at room temperature?
Hydrogen.
Per unit area of a surface is termed as? Keep it into Sweet Spark Kenya 1.0.
Welcome to IHTI. Train with the industry's leading institution. To lead the pack demands you to do it different. Yes, we are made of a different recipe.
If your dream is to become a hotel manager like me, IHTI is the place to be.
My name is Finella Sekon, formerly from Pioneer High School. I am currently in IHTI studying International Hotel Management and Culinary Arts.
My name is Jabir Hassan. I'm from Tanzania. I'm a second-year student doing hospitality management.
Tunawasubiri kwa hamu na ghamu isiyo na kifani. Wamvita, Wajomvu, karibuni IHTI.
Welcome on board. For more information, please log on to www.ihti.net or call us on 0728 787088 or simply write to us via info@ihti.net. Welcome to the Professionals Club.
This is NTV.
It's Friday, 17th January 2020. Hello there, and thank you for making time for us on NTV Weekend Edition, live from the nation's center. The top stories. Tonight, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino to spend the night in police custody after shooting a DJ in early morning incident.
Babu reacted, and eventually somebody was shot.
A shot came out from a firearm of a mheshimiwa.
DJ Evolve still hospitalized. Also tonight, President Kenyatta promises tougher action in war on terror as he directs Police Inspector General to stop condoning rogue officers.
Flush out terrorist operatives and all sleeper cells in our midst, especially in the northeastern and coastal regions.
Plus,
Thank you and congratulations.
DPP Nurdin Haji denies weak cases in court as Chief Justice calls for fairness in graft war blame game.
Nina uhakika mimi na wenzangu kama prosecutors ya kwamba tunao kesi nzuri.
Kesi inachukua muda mrefu kusikiza na kumaliza. Washahidi hawajakuja kotini, wakili ameahirisha kesi.
And on Bullseye,
We have talked to some of their wives. So the first arresting officer will be your wife.
He has not talked to my faithful wife.
Of BBI, Wives and Power.
Where utaki power?
The art of playing it cool.
Keep it cool, I keep it cool.
And why there are no permanent friends or enemies in politics.
This is NTV Weekend Edition with Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome to the broadcast. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Flora Atieno. And to our top story, Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino might spend the night at Kilimani Police Station after he was arrested on claims of shooting a DJ at a club in Kilimani Estate, that's here in Nairobi County. Police have confiscated the legislator's gun, which was used during the early morning incident. Vincent Uduor starts us off.
In a CCTV camera footage that captured events inside B Club early Friday morning in Kilimani, a man is seen talking to MP Babu Owino. Then suddenly, Babu withdraws his pistol and shoots the person. Few seconds later, the man identified as Felix Orinda alias DJ Evolve, who is a DJ at the club, is seen being dragged on the floor as two men try to carry him. Babu Owino was arrested early morning and spent several hours at the DCI offices in Kilimani Police Station. His lawyer, Cliff Ombeta, says for a while now, Babu has been fearing for his life, a fear which he says might have contributed to the incident.
A person who eventually he realized was his friend somehow approached him in a way that was unexpected, and Babu reacted. I can only say reacted, let me not say anything else beyond that, and eventually somebody was shot.
According to Kilimani OCPD Lucas Ogara, the police have confiscated Babu's gun.
A shot came out from a firearm of a mheshimiwa, and by now we have possessed the firearm itself and we have confirmed the same. As by now is a serious assault.
Detectives examined the vehicle that was used to rush Orinda to hospital. Babu is among those who took him to Nairobi Hospital. Currently, Orinda is receiving treatment at the Nairobi Hospital.
Hali yake si mbaya sana kwa sababu bado anaweza kuongea. Amepelekwa scan, tumeconfirm ya kwamba risasi ilipita haiku lodge kwa mwili na anaendelea vizuri.
This incident has raised questions on why Babu and his bodyguards were allowed to get into the club with firearms, even though it is clearly indicated at the entrance that weapons are not allowed in.
Galana Road, where the scene of crime is located. To be specific, it happened in what is called Galana Plaza, where B Club is located. And the police are saying they are continuing the investigations. A number of them visited Galana Plaza in the morning, and a number of them also visited B Club to really try and establish really what has transpired.
For the better part of the day, B Club had been shut down as a scene of crime, but it was later opened in the evening. The vehicle that Babu drove into B Club is still at the parking lot, designated as scene of crime. At the same time, a reveler who was at the club has launched claims of assault against Babu at Kilimani Police Station. DCI says Babu will face charges for attempted murder. Vincent Odur, NTV.
Just to make a clarification on that story, in our 7 o'clock broadcast, we showed you some images of Rarieda Member of Parliament Otiende Amolo as being in the crime scene there. That was not factual, and in fact those images are from way back, and we'd like to apologize for that. The use of the images of Otiende Amolo, the Member of Parliament for Rarieda, as portrayed as being in the scene of crime earlier today, that is not factual, and we'd like to apologize for that. In the meantime, the National Gun Owners Association has called for stern action against Babu Owino over the misuse of his firearm. The national chairman, Anthony Wahome, says the association fully supports a regular vetting of civilian gun owners to ensure everyone entrusted with a weapon is worthy and responsible.
The use of a firearm as envisaged by law is only justifiable for the protection of life and property. Firearms are not meant for use during domestic disputes, in public places, during road use conflicts, or where the danger is not imminent to the owner of the firearm, their family, or their property. Firearms are especially not to be used when the owner is intoxicated or inebriated. As an association, we are especially concerned that few irresponsible licensed firearm owners are giving the remaining close to 18,000 responsible firearm owners a bad name.
Away from that end, President Uhuru Kenyatta has spelled out new measures to deal with the threat of terrorism in the country. The president met security chiefs in Mombasa County, where he said more resources will be directed towards the war on terrorism activities. Our Coast reporter Kevin Mutai has more.
This month has seen an upsurge in terrorism activities, mainly in the northeastern region, where teachers have been targeted. The president is vowing decisive action against terrorist elements in the country.
Our most grave national security challenge, as you all know, is terrorism. So to that end, today, I want to direct that the following actions be undertaken to immediately upgrade our response. Firstly, security officers are to mount operations to flush out terrorist operatives and all sleeper cells in our midst, especially in the northeastern and coastal regions.
The president also wants the implementation of the county action plans to prevent and counter violent extremism. He directed that security chiefs serving in regions considered insecurity hotspots undergo further training to acquire new skills in dealing with changing trends in fighting terrorist-related activities.
Smuggling and contraband from neighboring countries directly funds Al-Shabaab, which on the other side of the border illegally levies taxes that they then use to sustain their operations. Friends, this must stop. Ile story ati ukifanya makosa hapa ati unakuwa transferred pale, hiyo hakuna. Ikiwa ni makosa, jameni jitayarishe kwenda nyumbani. I think that is fair. Au mnasemaje wenzangu? See, that is fair. Yes? We will not be transforming incompetence. We will not be transferring corruption from one region to another.
The head of state also directed the Ministry of Interior to pay more attention to areas prone to terrorist attacks and provide security to schools, communication installations, and even government infrastructure.
It is no longer the responsibility ati tuseme mzazi, hapana. Responsibility ni yenu kuhakikisha ya kwamba kila mtoto ako shule. Na kama mtoto hako shule, lazima mtoto aende shule, na kama mzazi analete shida, basi mtoto aende shule, mzazi mnajua pahali mtampeleka.
The president has reiterated his commitment towards achieving the Big Four agenda and protection of the country's vital water towers, forests, and the fragile ecosystems. Kevin Mutai, NTV, Mombasa.
God bless you.
Now, chaos erupted in Majengo estate in Nairobi County after residents demonstrated over the death of a boy who they claim was shot dead by the police for refusing to pay a bribe. Businesses in many parts of Majengo came to a standstill as police engaged demonstrators in running battles.
It was a day of clashes here in Majengo as residents engaged in running battles with police. They blocked all roads to Majengo by burning tires. The chaos started just after the funeral of Ahmed Majid at Kariokor. Ahmed was allegedly shot by the police yesterday after he was accused of stealing.
Leo tumeenda kumzika na kwenda kuandamana, wameanza kuturushia live bullet, na huyu kijana ni kijana anajulikana kila mtu. Hakuna siku kitu kama hii Majengo ishaifanyika.
GSU officers were forced to use tear gas to disperse the crowds. Several people were injured during the confrontation and were taken to Healthgate Hospital in Isli. These hapless children were caught between the police and the demonstrators.
Misa sahi sofa ni wawili, moja amepigwa mguu, mwingine amepigwa magoti. Tunaomba serikali ya Kenya, mjue kama vijana tunaomba tuprotectiwe.
Residents now want the government to intervene and improve security in the area.
Now, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions is seeking to reintroduce the Contempt of Court Act as a measure of ensuring that court orders are obeyed and rulings are followed to the letter. This comes amid accusations against the government for defying orders from the courts, as Mel Miendo now tells us.
The Contempt of Court Act was abolished by the judiciary in 2018 for being unconstitutional. But now DPP Nordin Haji wants it back to deal with the many instances of state officers ignoring orders of the court.
We had to revert back to the English law, which is civil in nature, and we are asking that we are in discussion with the Attorney General for that particular act of contempt of court act to be brought back.
A person can be found guilty of contempt of court if he or she assaults, threatens, intimidates, or willfully insults a judge or judicial officer or a witness, willfully and without lawful excuse disobeys an order or directions of a superior or subordinate court, within the premises in which any judicial proceeding is being had or taken, shows disrespect, and causes an obstruction or disturbance in the course of a judicial proceeding. Accordingly, a person who is convicted of contempt of court is liable to a fine not exceeding 200,000 Kenya shillings or to imprisonment for a term not exceeding 6 months or to both. The court may also order that the accused person be detained in police custody until the next court session. In recent weeks, the government has been accused of blatantly defying court orders regarding Gatundu South Member of Parliament Moses Kuria, who was arrested on 10th January 2020 and released the following day.
They have not yet obeyed the court orders, because if they had obeyed the court orders, they would have released me on the bail of 50,000, which I posted yesterday.
And lawyer Miguna, whose second attempt to travel to Kenya in January became impossible after a red alert advisory was issued against him. Asked if the cases before the courts will end in convictions, DPP Haji maintains that the narrative of weak cases is misleading. He calls for concerted efforts in dealing with corruption cases without laying blame on any agency.
And I don't want people to be disappointed when we get convictions at the magistrate level and people rush to the next level for appeal to the High Court and then the Court of Appeal.
Haji was speaking at a press conference convened with delegates from the European Union who have pledged collaboration with the local prosecuting agency in ensuring transnational crimes are dealt with.
Some of the complex transcontinental cases where close cooperation between the judicial authorities in EU member states and
Malmiendo, NTV.
Congratulations.
Staying with matters justice, Chief Justice David Maraga has admitted that the judiciary contributes to delay in delivering convictions, but has called for fairness in apportioning blame for the slow pace of cases. He has also pointed a finger at the police, witnesses and the prosecution.
Shutuma ingine ambayo imekuja against the judiciary is justified, and I have spoken to my people and told them, look, you have to work very hard and dispose of these cases. But when there are delays, the delays cannot be blamed on the judiciary alone.
Now, Mkulima Primary School in Kuresoi North has been shut down a day after lightning strike killed 3 pupils and left 50 others injured. The community has supported the closure, claiming that the school has always been in a poor state. Bridget Sngana has more.
Like any other school day, the banter of children would echo around Mkulima Primary School. But today, an eerie silence blankets the compound. On Thursday evening, a deadly lightning strike snuffed the life of 3 pupils here. 50 others were injured and have been receiving treatment at local hospitals. Education and county officials were here to condole with the parents and assess the damage.
Taongea na national government through the CDF and the county government if they can assist so that all the schools in this area should have lightning arresters. Because most of these schools will be affected whether we like it or not, because we never know where it will happen next.
The lightning struck these wooden classrooms, but the 2 stone buildings in the school are also in a dire state, caving in under the weight of the more than 500 children here.
Kitu tu nitaweza kudemand kwa sababu wakati mwingine tunasema ni kuomba, lakini wacha tudemand kwamba hii shule ianze kuchengwa kadiri ya vile disaster imeweza kuonekana.
Kiingia hilo darasa hata uwezi ukauliza swali. Roboto ni mingi, wewe mwenyewe hata unajionea. Hakuna kuuliza. Mwanya yenye iko kwa hilo darasa, watoto wanatokea watatu wakiwa wameshikana. Ni mwanya na ni darasa watoto wanasomea. Hiyo darasa hiyo hata wewe ukiangalia ni darasa gani hiyo?
The closure of the school comes behind a faded government campaign meant to clamp down on the schools of shame.
Katika hali yote, hata wale wako hospitali, county government through His Excellency Lee imeamua kulipa expenses za hospitali, na pia katika maombolezi Nakuru County Government itashughulika na hiyo mambo yote.
In the meantime, the surviving pupils will be accommodated in the neighboring public schools. Bridget, Ghana, NTV, Nakuru.
Now, some 1,000 betting and gambling machines have been seized by police in Runda Estate in Nairobi, something the authorities now say is part of the wide web that is responsible for the entry of illicit goods in the country. In Kisumu, another consignment of milk has been seized. Police are now concerned over the increase in the number of illegal goods entering the country, as Silas Apollo tells us.
The gambling machines were seized by detectives at a private residence in Nairobi's Runda Estate and are believed to belong to foreigners who are renting the premises. Mugwai said that at the time of the raid, the house was unoccupied, save for a gardener at the compound who opened the premises for the police.
What we found in the first instance was that there was a tent, a green tent outside, well covered, and we immediately realized or noted that this is where what we had been told could be in that compound was. And upon opening the tent, we realized that there were several of these slot coin machines.
The house is believed to have been rented out to a Chinese, a Tanzanian and a Zambian.
Information that sometimes in 2018, from the gardener, a Chinese, a Tanzanian, and a Zambian are the ones who dropped those machines there and they left. They have not been seen or heard of since then.
Another consignment of 82 illegal gambling machines were confiscated and burnt in Karatina and Nyeri County. Police say the machines worth 2.3 million shillings were part of a consignment that was to be transported to various parts of the country for gambling purposes. The exercise follows months of a crackdown on illegal gambling machines that the government has blamed for addiction among the youths. In Kisumu, DCI officers nabbed cartons of counterfeit Lato milk product at a warehouse along Sabuni Road in Kisumu County. Police say the cartons numbering about 8,000 were impounded following a tip-off from members of the public regarding the illegal repackaging of the milk. The government has in the past month intensified the war on illicit and counterfeit goods responsible for deaths and loss of revenue, but with little success. Critics of the campaign accused government officials for conspiring with cartels to help the entry of the said goods through porous borders. Silas Apollo, NTV.
19 minutes past 9 p.m. Time for a short breather on NTV Weekend Edition. When we come back, we have those stories from Western Kenya and, of course, the Deputy President responding to Raila Odinga and the BBI initiative. Stay with us.
Prepare yourself for a new live bet experience. Top minute, boosted live bet odds. Mozart, make a decision.
Barclays is not just a relationship across one generation, it's been a relationship over 3 generations. We've done certain projects such as the noodle plant, instant noodle plant, the tissue paper plant. So you can imagine over the years how much we've increased employment from a direct perspective. Then there's the indirect perspective, local suppliers that now we increase as a result of some of these investments.
When I joined Kappa, we only had 1,000 workers. But with this expansion, we've been able to move from 1,000 workers to 2,000 workers.
For us in corporate investment banking, we partner with our customers to help them bring their possibilities to life. And as we transition into ABSA, it's a strength that will continue to underpin the way we do business with our clients by ensuring that we are not only solutioning for the corporate customers we serve, but their entire ecosystems.
Do you have what it takes to become the next generation of great innovators, business magnates, corporate icons, engineers, and renowned researchers? Be part of over 40,000 students pursuing and nurturing their career at Moi University. Enroll now for January, May, and September 2020 intakes for postgraduate, degree, and diploma programs in the following schools: School of Business and Economics, School of Arts and Social Sciences, School of Information Sciences, School of Education, School of Agriculture and Natural Resources, School of Biological and Physical Sciences, School of Tourism, Hospitality and Events Management, School of Aerospace Science, School of Public Health, School of Medicine, School of Engineering, School of Law, School of Nursing, School of Dentistry. Enroll now. Moi University, the foundation of knowledge.
Every day, NTV News Team moves you to the center of the action.
The security forces who took part in this operation,
police are not taking anything to chance.
Moves you to the heart of the story to witness and record history.
Rendering the declared results null and void.
Telling the story of Kenya.
The growing importance of border in Mandera.
Matatus will be on strike.
And beyond.
The politics in the United States capital.
It is the 7th edition of the Global Education taking place in Dubai.
When it comes to business, we crunch the numbers and unpack the detail with the latest information for your investment decision.
It's time to say goodbye to this note and karibu to this note.
In order for the manufacturing sector to be elevated from the ground.
Despite the government's promise to create at least 1.3 million jobs.
Moves you fast past the planes and trucks to bring you the triumphs and joys of our great men and women.
Moving stories that touch our hearts.
I didn't know that I could go back to school.
The Back to School program has brought hope to these young mothers.
NTV News. News that moves you.
Hayo unaniambia wewe, mimi naona yananichanganya sasa.
Kwa hivyo uniamini?
Mimi sijui niamini lipi na niamini nani.
Sawa, ushahidi ndio hapa.
Sonia yampenda Jabali kiasi.
Yale wayaita mapenzi, ule wake ni wivu. Sasa mambo ya kumpenda Jabali na kumchukia huyu Fadhili yaingilia napi? Kwa sababu mambo mawili tofauti.
Hili shamba litauzwa. Nisipoliuza mimi, mtu mwingine atalinunua na huyo mtu mwingine pia atakuja kufurusha. Mbona nyinyi hamsikii maneno nikiwaambia?
Hawa kinajiwe wamekwambia nini haswa kimekufanya uje unikosee mimi adabu?
Mzazi asimtakia mema mwanae si mzazi mwema.
Welcome back to NTV Weekend Edition. Let's have a follow-up of our top story today, that Ghana incident involving Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino, and the Orange Democratic Movement Party has reacted, appearing to distance itself from the legislature, and the party's Secretary General says matters of alleged criminal conduct are beyond the realm of a political party. The law enforcement agencies are now in charge, and the ODM party is subordinate to the law of the land, and our concern at the moment is with the victim of this extremely unfortunate incident, he says. So the ODM party is not in solidarity with the Embakasi East Member of Parliament Babu Owino following that gun incident this morning. And to some politics now, and organizers of the Bukungu Building Bridges Initiative meeting now say the ANC leader, Musalia Mudavadi, and Ford Kenya's Moses Wetangula have no option but to attend tomorrow's meeting, failure to which they will suffer political cold. They say anyone who will not be at the meeting will be labeled an enemy of the Luhya community. The fate of the concurrent meeting set for Mumias is still up in the air as the organizers insist it will happen. NTV's Kennedy Mureithi is in Kakamega County and now gives us the details.
The political heat in the western region continues to rise ahead of the two rival political meetings in Kakamega on Saturday. At the Bukungu Stadium, a last round of inspection was done, seeking to ensure nothing is left to chance.
You cannot pretend and even imagine
that you can come up with a solution. So go to Mumias, have a meeting, then after Mumias, unaenda wapi?
Over 30 kilometers away in Mumias, where the rival meeting is to happen, the event's fate is still uncertain as police insist it is illegal. Kakamega OCPD David Kabena dared the team to set foot in Mumias Saturday morning.
OCPD ni mdogo wa superintendent, mtu mdogo sana, tusikia maneno ya mtu mkubwa.
Tulikuwa na regional. Sisi tumekuwa na mkutano na regional commander ambaye ana command counties 3.
Both teams are upbeat about the meetings, which they each believe will cement them as Western Kenya supremos. The Mumias team has christened the Buhungu meeting as an outsider's affair and not one for locals.
But our tomorrow's meeting is similar to the one that the His Excellency President convened for the people of Mount Kenya in Sagana.
Both camps have also heightened calls to have Musalia Mudavadi and Moses Wetangula attend their meetings, believing their endorsement may be a boost.
Sasa unataka mtu aje akuchukua seme wewe kuja ukae hapa.
We are appealing to our senior leaders, the two brothers, the two senior politicians whom we put in front as lawyers. This is Mudavadi and Wetangula, to appear in tomorrow's meeting. Yes. And failure to that, we'll consider them as if they are not our seniors in politics.
There will be nobody in Mumias. I am the chairman of Fort Kenya in the Bungoma County. Wetangula is my senator and leader of Fort Kenya, but also a leader in this region, and we expect him to be here.
It is without a doubt that Saturday's events are going to shape the future of politics of Western region, as those planning the Buhungu meeting say that they do expect about 50,000 people, and they will be making a major declaration at that particular meeting. Those planning the Mumias Nabongo meeting are of the opinion, despite the fact that police do not want them to hold the meeting, it is concentrated on the plight of those that are from the region. Kennedy Mureithi, NTV in Mumias, Kakamega County.
And still on politics, Deputy President William Ruto this morning appeared for the first time in public since the removal from cabinet of his political ally Mwangi Kiunjuri. Ruto held a meeting of leaders from Taita Taveta County where he steered clear of the touchy matter of cabinet reshuffle. He, however, dismissed politicians popularizing the Building Bridges initiative, as Ken Majengo now tells us.
A consultative forum organized by leaders allied to Deputy President William Ruto in Taita Taveta saw him appear alongside other leaders from the wider Taita Taveta County. Here, the discussions around the BBI report and the forums to popularize its content took center stage. Ruto wants politicians holding public rallies selling the content of the report to stop pushing their agenda.
We are all Kenyans, and every citizen in Kenya must be given the opportunity to present their views without being intimidated, without drama, without unnecessary confrontation.
The BBI task force had its mandate extended to June this year, when a further report is expected to be presented to the appointing authority. The ongoing political rallies, however, don't sit well with the DP.
We want this process to be peaceful, to be organized, and to be led by the Haji team.
He says copies of the report ought to be availed to the masses and wants the people's voices to be reflected in the final report. He was speaking against a backdrop of heightened political activities in Kakamega ahead of tomorrow's forum, which will be attended by pro-BBI leaders including ODM leader Raila Odinga.
Not led by brokers and busybodies and politicians who want to confuse the people of Kenya.
When our time comes.
In the meantime, leaders allied to the deputy president have called for a more inclusive process. The leaders from Ruto's backyard say the unfair treatment meted on the DP goes against the ideals propagated by the BBI team.
Lakini let us have an inclusive process. Mnajua wananchi wa eneo hili wengi wengine wanaweza kuwa na wasiwasi kuhusu ile mambo inafanyikia naibu wa rais. Nasikia sijui kulikuwa na nini siku nyingine ametolewa mavitu kwa nyumba imetupwa. Mimi I take comfort in Proverbs chapter 19 verse 14.
Ruto's allies in Western Kenya plan to hold their own parallel meeting to counter the one at Buhungu Stadium on Saturday. Ken Mijungu, NTV.
It is the end of the road for former Othaya Member of Parliament Mary Wambui at the National Employment Authority, as the Employment and Labour Relations Court has permanently blocked her from taking up the role of chairperson at the state agency. Justice Onesmus Makau says that the then Cabinet Secretary for Labour Ukur Yatani's appointment of the 69-year-old to lead the youth agency was irregular and unconstitutional. The court ruled that Wambui did not meet the required constitutional and statutory qualifications and is inexperienced for that position. The appointment received a lot of backlash from members of the public when it came to light in October of 2019.
Ms. Mary Wambui Monene is permanently restrained by an order of injunction from assuming office as a chairperson of the National Employment Authority. Ms. Wambui Monene did not meet the competence threshold for the position, and the recruitment was not competitively done, but irregularly done through what appears to be handpicking.
Three top Kitui County officials arrested for corruption have been released on a bond by a Kitui Magistrate Court. The three had earlier appeared before the Machakos Anti-Corruption Court, which moved the case to Kitui, citing that it did not have jurisdiction over the matter. The trio was arrested by sleuths from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission over irregular and fraudulent awarding of tenders worth 891 million shillings. The case is set for mention for pre-trial on January the 22nd. And President Uhuru Kenyatta has urged the newly appointed Chief Administrative Secretaries to work to improve the welfare of Kenyans. Speaking during the swearing-in of the CASs at State House, Mombasa, the President reiterated his administration's commitment to the economic agenda. He's also urging the youthful leaders to work with other experienced leaders, as that would help them bring new ideas on how to support the government's agenda. Of the new officials perceived to be assistant cabinet secretaries are trainee ministers, according to the head of state's announcement on Tuesday. It's now time for another short break on NTV Weekend Edition, but still ahead, the Commission on Revenue Allocation is proposing a cap on counties' expenditure. We tell you more on NTV Business next with Julians Amboko. Stay with us.
Who wants to answer? Mary?
Mary has a toothache.
Oh, I see. And who knows why?
Because the tooth is too big.
No, it might be a hole in her tooth called a cavity. That's why I brush twice a day using Colgate.
Imagine this is your tooth and these are food acids that cause cavities. Colgate with calcium and fluoride helps prevent cavities
For maximum cavity protection.
and now available in a 12-gram sachet for fresh breath. Only 15 shillings.
I am pleased by just the simple little things of life. And I promise if you take the time, you won't be looking for too long before you find this little secret of mine.
Your multi-bet is on its way to hit the bullseye. Oh, you lose one match, but only in Mozart. Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
Let's get to the close of business this week. Welcome, I am Julian Amboko. The Commission on Revenue Allocation, CRA, has proposed capping of counties' recurrent expenditure at 60 billion shillings for the financial year between July 2020 and June 2021, unchanged from the present financial year. Victor Kiprop puts this proposal into perspective.
It is the first time since the onset of devolution that the Commission on Revenue Allocation is advising the Senate not to increase the recurrent expenditure ceiling designated for county governments. In its proposals to the Senate, the Commission wants the recurrent expenditure ceilings for counties to be retained at the current financial year level of 59.9 billion shillings, in line with the government's ongoing fiscal consolidation plan that has already seen ministries, departments and state agencies slapped with restrictions on non-essential expenditure. Over the last 5 years, recurrent expenditure, which comprises of expenses that go into the running of counties such as salaries and allowances, operational costs which include traveling and accommodation as well as electricity and water bills, have nearly doubled from 32.9 billion shillings in 2013 to 59.9 billion shillings last year. Nairobi leads the pack of counties with the biggest spending on recurrent expenditure, with a ceiling of 1.4 billion shillings this financial year, followed by Kakamega and Kiambu, which can also spend over 1 billion shillings, and Nakuru and Meru, which have ceilings of over 900 million shillings. The CRA also proposes that county governments get an increase of 5.2 billion shillings to spend on development in the next financial year. Kenya's inability to finance its budget and its preference for long-term debt, the government is quickly running out of options of financing itself. Victor Kiprop, NTV Business.
And elsewhere, mango farmers could soon be able to access the global market again as the government mulls over lifting the 2014 self-imposed ban on export of the commodity. The 2014 ban came against the backdrop of high levels of fruit flies, which saw Kenyan consignments on export intercepted on several occasions. The Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service, KEFIS, is set to start a campaign on educating farmers on applying integrated pest management technologies to curb the fruit fly damage on mangoes. The campaign will begin in Makueni County next week before being rolled over to Kitui County. Kenya is still grappling with adhering to phytosanitary requirements that have seen local produce restricted from certain markets such as Europe and the United States.
And it's not just spraying or trapping the pest at your farm, but also making sure that all the mangoes, including the ones that are not being eaten, the ones that are thrown into the markets, all of them are managed in such a way that they don't become a breeding ground for the fruit.
We are engaging the Association of Mango buyers so that we can talk about ethical issues of fair trading so that they don't exploit farmers.
Sounds like some good news. Moving on, minority shareholders in companies could soon have a greater say in the proposed takeover of businesses if changes proposed by the Ministry of East African Community and Regional Development are approved. The current legal provision gives an offerer who has acquired or contracted to acquire at least 50% of shares of a company the right to make a bid to the remaining shareholders so as to take over the company. The proposed changes by the ministry, if adopted, will revert to the previous threshold of 90%. The private sector had expressed reservations on the current provision, prompting the review that has led to the proposed changes. The proposed changes are contained in the Business Laws Amendment Bill of 2019. Speaking about takeovers, the Kenya's banking sector continues to attract appetite from regional players, with the National Treasury giving a green light for the acquisition of Transnational Bank by Nigeria's Access Bank. On January 14, 2019, the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary okayed the acquisition of 100% of Transnational Bank's issued share capital following approval of the acquisition by the bank's shareholders in July 31, 2019. Shareholders of Access Bank approved the takeover of Transnational Bank on October 8 last year. As at the close of 2018, Transnational Bank had an asset base of 10.2 billion shillings with deposits worth 8.1 billion shillings. And in a world of dynamism in the labor market, parents have been urged not to force their children to pursue courses they are not comfortable with. This was said during a career fair organized by My Network in Nairobi. The career fair helps to foster smart career choices and prevent early school leaving by providing education and guidance. It is also suitable to help re-engage early leavers from education and help them make choices of a specialization and the transition to the workplace, according to the World Bank Economic Connections, to enable them to secure jobs in future.
You get a certificate. The certificate is a document. This document tells you that you are thinking. You have the capacity to think. What is important is what you do with that thinking.
And it's Friday, let's talk about matters food. According to a World Bank report, Kenya is the third in Africa in the number of livestock within its borders. Livestock production accounts for 50% of the agricultural GDP. However, with climate change and resource-based conflict, not many pastoralists have been able to reap the full benefits of their livestock value chain. In Baringo County, the introduction of the African foxtail grass as a commercial pasture seed is transforming the fortunes of livestock farmers, as Bridget's Ghana
is now a thick carpet of lush green grass. This is Salabani location in Marigat, and on this side of Kenya's arid north, this location leads in the production of pasture grass. Here, the current downpour is only but a sign ditched the traditional migratory paths during the dry spell in search of pasture for their flock.
Sasa nimeona hili ni pande yangu hata ngawasu iko kidogo kidogo hiyo msituni ya wananchi ya community
manusu na tumeona hiyo kabisa na mimi kwa the last 6 years sijahamisha ng'ombe yangu.
Chebet and Kipsang are part of the more than 400 times of plenty like now and as hay during the dry spell. The riches these two farmers say is in the seed.
Sasa tunasalima mahindi unapata mapato kidogo. Lakini tumeona inyasi ni kama mara 10 ya hiyo mapato.
Unasaidika kwa mbegu, unaweza kuuza hii kama ni mingi zaidi. Unalisha ng'ombe na mgilisa ng'ombe na naona unapata pesa pia. Hiyo ndio uzuri ya nyasi.
Here in Baringo, the African foxtail grass is a double-edged sword, effective in fighting livestock losses incurred during drought and the invasive Prosopis juliflora to exert pressure on the dwindling natural resources.
We have now improved Sahiwal cows that can go for about 150,000, which is the system that we are introducing in our farms, and selling the bulls to local farmers so they are also able to improve their breeds.
The government, through KVDA, plans to introduce the growing of the African foxtail grass in other arid and semi-arid counties as a viable option in curbing the livestock deaths occasioned by the now frequent dry spells. Bridget's Ghana, NTV Food Friday.
And up next, we have the financial report. And that's it from the business desk, but still ahead on this broadcast. Of BBI, wives and power, and why there are no permanent friends or enemies in politics. Bullseye is next.
Embakasi Benedicta Academy Utawala is a center of academic excellence, mixed day and boarding. We offer pre-primary and primary school classes. We have fully implemented the new competency-based curriculum from PP1 to grade 4 and offer French classes for free. Our pupils numbers on your screen. Embakasi Benedicta Academy Utawala. Learn and shine.
Betika community is a movement. We started this initiative to support grassroots talent because we want to change and transform lives.
Ball imechange maisha yangu. Ball imefanya nimerudi shule, nimemaliza shule. Hope sana ball itanisaidia.
At Betika we saw the amazing talent that our youth have in football around Kenya, and we said, what are the challenges that these teams and these young people are facing? And the most immediate need for them was football kits.
Tumepata uniform safi, tutakuwa tunatumia kwa tournament, so tuko ready kupiga shughuli.
Every winning team will take home a cash prize of 200 soccer stadiums across the world, and we'll be very proud when we see some of our Betika community players in such tournaments.
Je, maumivu ya kichwa na kukosesha amani? Kaluma Strong hutuliza maumivu ya kichwa, maumivu ya mwili na hata huondoa joto jingi mwilini. Kaluma Strong ina aspirin kama kiungo. Maumivu yakizidi, muone daktari.
Eldoret Technical Training Institute, ETTI, is a student-centered institution offering competency-based training and market-driven courses at higher diploma, and certificate level. Registration for January, May, and September as agriculture and animal health, travel, tourism and hospitality management, education, social studies, information communication technology, accounting, banking and finance, medical and health sciences, journalism and mass communication. Apply now. SMS your details to the numbers on your screen. Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Growing reputation.
Edmond Nyabola.
Welcome back to the broadcast. Now, BBI, the Building Bridges Initiative, is now just BB or Wife Initiative, at least according to some men of Mulembe. With the bridges now virtually non-existent, they are arguing about everything. It seems it is a litmus test for the political elite amid attempts to get back on track. And this new initiative is claiming victims, as Emmanuel Juma now reports on Bullseye.
The search for friends, real friends, is on. It's that moment when you seek people to stand with you. A moment informed by this.
The ones I haven't mentioned are because they're either in place. If they're not in place, then yeah, so be it. Kenya moves on.
And I've said that I'm not going anywhere.
But you have to be going somewhere, Mwangi.
Hatuendi nyumbani, ati kulima huko, hapana. Hapana, tutakuweko tu.
Okay, then enumerate some of the things you'll be doing.
I turn my new page.
That is one.
And live to the covenant. I will truly live to the covenant.
Now that's what I call a real reaction.
For any action, there will be reaction.
That's so cool.
Keep it cool, I keep it cool.
But again,
when I'm provoked, when I feel it is important to talk, to disseminate any information, I will do it.
Gently, Mwangi, gently. Fast rewind. Mwangi was just in the process of dealing with these guys.
Tafadhali mpige picha.
Tuwezi kuambia Wakenya wasipige picha.
Some sympathizing, yeah, some are happy.
Is this the time to say pole?
Musiniambie pole.
And equally, there is no pole where matters BBI are concerned.
You sit on the fence, you expect somebody to come and pick on you, you come and sit here. Shenzi sana.
Wengine wanajaribu kusema, if you are not in their musafara, then you are not for BBI. This kind of intimidation must stop.
It's the Building Bridges Initiative, Mulembe style.
Wasituchezee. No wasitulete.
By the way, Francis, there is another meeting planned for Mumias.
Usijaribu kwenda Mumias.
because wale watu wote ambao wanasema mambo ya Mumias tuna majina yao. Na hakuna mtu atatoka kwa nyumba yake.
And you are talking as who?
I am a system in myself.
Prove it.
In this country we are only 3 people. Huh? Is the president a national leader of this nation who is heading the Republic of Kenya, President Uhuru Kenyatta. The other popular person in this country is Raila Amolo Odinga. After that, you come to Francis Atwoli. Wengine wote ni punda.
Now that is power.
Where utaki power?
Back to that house arrest plan. How will it be carried out?
We have talked to some of their wives. So the first arresting officer will be your wife.
Francis is talking to other people's wives. My.
Nilitoka hapa bio nikakimbia kufika Nairobi kuangalia kwa simu ya mama kama simu ya Atwoli.
If he has been talking to the wives of some of the Luya leaders, he has not talked to my faithful wife. He has not talked to Musalia's wife, because he can't even talk to Wetangula's wife. The English they speak, I told you, would not understand.
Kama una bibi bahati mbaya.
And the BBI quickly becomes Bibi, wife manenos.
Lakini kidogo mimi niko na bahati kwa sababu unajua mimi Mungu alinibariki. Bibi yangu ni ule mnono ambao unashika na mikono mbili, nasikia yeye anabenanga wale wembamba. Sasa kidogo hiyo imenipatia nafuu kidogo, nikitembea najua hapo niko sawa sawa. Ile gari mimi nasukuma Atwoli hawezi kusukuma hiyo.
Rambo in the land of Mlembe.
Good evening, fellow Kenyans. My name is Enosh Momanyi. I'm 29 years old from Webuye West constituency, Bungoma County. Today actually has been a very good day, waking up in the morning to calls and SMSs from people I know and those that I don't know, congratulating me of my appointment by His Excellency the President to the position of PS, physical planning.
He was a happy man, all because of this.
Actually, I learned this through the Standard newspaper.
The anguish of shared names and a misplaced picture. At least he shares a name with a permanent secretary, right? Back to Mwangi Kiunjuri.
Niko na nitakuwa mtaani, tutasema wakisema.
He should know better. He is experienced.
Nimekuwa kwa siasa kwa zaidi ya miaka 25. In fact, nimefanya siasa miaka mingi kuliko ile nimeishi hii dunia.
There is Kizungu Mkuti and Hesabu Mkuti. Anyway, the last time Mwangi was on Bullseye, he was singing this song.
Yo amwadhani Jesu nabwo kwa negoka.
Guess the song he's singing now as he walks away. Emmanuel Juma, Bullseye, NTV.
Whoa, Emmanuel Juma. Anyway, our political affairs reporter is in Western Kenya to find out tomorrow, actually, if Francis Atwoli will be daring enough to speak to Moses Wetangula's wife, and of course we'll be covering that event live for you. We take another break on NTV Weekend Edition, but still ahead. Athletics Kenya seeks to criminalize doping as yet another elite athlete violates anti-doping rules. Details with Brian Otwal on NTV Sport after this.
Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Registration for January, May and September 2020 intakes is ongoing. Apply now. Eldoret Technical Training Institute. Growing reputation.
Prepare yourself for a new live bet experience. Top minute, boosted live bet odds. Mozart, make a decision.
Molfix breathable surface developed with Airsoft technology is very soft and provides the best Molfix skincare.
I found the best diaper for my baby's sensitive skin.
All babies deserve a high-quality diaper. You should also try Molfix.
Did you know? As a leading African banking group, we have invested $50 million in technology to make your banking easier.
Absa Group, serving Kenya as Barclays.
Kupika kila mtu ajipikie yake. Na vyombo za nani? Kwa nani?
Am I not getting some? Ice cream ya wageni. Wewe nitakuletea maji kwa jikoni.
A girl's gotta eat to keep up with you, Mr. Guns.
Well, that's absolutely correct.
This festive season, get a decoder with subscription at an unbelievable festive offer of only 1,499 shillings. You can also pay 1 month and enjoy 2 weeks free on a higher bouquet. For more information, call 0719 077 077.
Star Times. Enjoy digital life.
Hayo unaoniambia wewe mimi naona yananichanganya sasa.
Kwa hivyo uniamini?
Mimi sijui niamini lipi na niamini nani.
Sawa, ushahidi ndio hapa.
Sonia yampenda Jabali kiasi.
Yale wayaita mapenzi, ule wake ni wivu. Sasa mambo ya kumpenda Jabali, na kumchukia huyu Fadhili, yaingilia napi kwa pisini mambo mawili tofauti.
Hili shamba litauzwa. Nisipoliuza mimi, mtu mwingine atalinunua na huyo mtu mwingine pia atakuja tufurusha. Mbona nyinyi hamsikii maneno nikiwaambia?
Hawa kinajiwe wamekwambia nini haswa kimekufanya uje unikosee mimi adabu hapa?
Mzazi asimtakia mema mwanae, si mzazi mwema.
NTV Sport in association with Mozart Bet. SMS NTV to 29990.
Welcome to NTV Sport, where we don't speak to people's wives right here on NTV Sport. My name is Brian Otual. Athletics Kenya has come up with a draft bill that will be presented in Parliament to criminalize doping. This comes in the wake of more doping violation cases being reported, and the latest being former world junior 800 meters champion Alfred Kipketer, suspension by Athletics Integrity Unit for whereabouts failure. Warothe Kiru with the details.
Of 2022 elite Kenyan athletes Wilson Kipsang and Alfred Kipketer have been suspended by the Athletics Integrity Unit, AIU, for anti-doping violations. Now, Athletics Kenya is breathing fire.
You are aware that we drafted the bill to the Ministry of Sports late last year to be taken to Parliament in order to criminalize doping.
Andrea, the House has a stern message for Kenyan elite athletes.
There is nowhere anyone can hide for them, and it is either they work hand in hand and remain clean and remain relevant in the sport, or hang their spikes altogether, because the anti-doping winds are too strong for those who want to engage in hide and seek.
AIU, which is affiliated to World Athletics, seems to be doing the donkey work, while the Anti-Doping Agency of Kenya, ADAK, lags behind.
Athletics Kenya, in collaboration with the Ministry of Sports, have agreed to increase funding to ADAK so that all athletes will be tested anytime, anywhere, without notice, and as many times as it can be done.
2020 is an Olympics year, and Kenyan athletes will be looking to shine in Tokyo.
Only clean athletes feature in our events. Those sanctioned and found guilty of doping should as well plan their retirement, because there will be no second chance.
The doping menace threatens to ruin Kenya's global reputation as a powerhouse in the world of athletics. Warothe Kiru, NTV, Nairobi.
And Kenyan boxer Elizabeth Ndiego is optimistic that she will secure a ticket to this year's Tokyo Olympics. In the 2012 Summer Games, Ndiego competed in the women's middleweight competition but lost in the first round. If she does get to Tokyo, the 33-year-old will be hoping that second time will be the charm. Joshua Makori reports.
Boxer Elizabeth Andiego going through the paces at the AVF boxing ring in Lavington. Her sole focus being on February's Africa Olympic qualifiers set for Dakar, Senegal.
Naona tiketi ndaiwai. So far naendelea na mazoezi. Niko sure hiyo tiketi taipata.
Kushua na timu Kwiri pia ndio amekuja pia bado. Sasa hapo kwake pia kuna mashindano pia yeye mpaka sasa hawaka hadi kwa camp because kuna mpaka wale wanadhamtingisha kwa camp pale.
Lizzie's maiden Olympic experience in 2012 was a short one as she was eliminated in the women's middleweight first round.
Naweza sema for me ilikuwa like more of exposure part juu naweza sema pande wa kina dada boxing haikuwa imeenea sana.
4 years later, the Rio Games found her in a recovery.
Ile time nilipata accident 2015 juu ya hiyo passion ilibidi tu niweze kurecover polepole nirudi 2 years baadaye nikakuja nikaenda Commonwealth.
If Andiego does secure a ticket to Tokyo, she has her eyes on the prize.
Lazima nijikaze nikuje na medal, nothing less short, so I just want to leave a mark there.
At 33, Tokyo 2020 is her last chance at Olympics glory with her retirement plan in place.
Na niweze kuretire ni concentrate sasa na coaching, niweze kukuza wasichana wenye wanakam.
The African qualifiers will be held between February 20th to 29th. Yoshua Makori, NTV Sport.
And the Kenya Swimming Federation will hold its elections on 22nd February, just a week to the deadline given by the world governing body FINA. KSF is staring at an imminent ban due to failure to hold elections which will impact on Kenyan swimmers' chances of making a splash in the Tokyo Olympics. The race against time to save Kenyan swimmers from missing the Tokyo 2020 Olympics due to Kenya Swimming Federation failure to hold elections since September 2014 is on. The KSF Nairobi branch is expected to hold a county constitutional conference on Saturday to adopt the constitution proposals.
We've had chances that we've missed, but now we are on target because the roadmap is clear.
8 counties taking part in the process will be required to register and confirm their status with the Registrar of Sports before the nominations of club delegates for the national elections. But how did the waters get muddied? The International Swimming Federation cracked the whip following the missing of its constant notices, requesting the federation to hold its election.
With respect to the first deadline, I'll be very honest to say swimming was not ready for elections. The divisions were still so deep-seated. There were no real leaders who had emerged, and so you would have had the same people being recycled.
Following the constant wrangles, an interim management committee headed by the Sports Dispute Tribunal Chair John Ohaga was put in place in 2017.
Running the interim management committee of swimming has been the most challenging undertaking I have ever taken on in sports. There is so much infighting in swimming that each committee that attempts to do its work independently always has opposition from somewhere.
The differences have been borne by the contents of the constitution as well as the people eligible to vote.
One issue that has arisen, which has become a really big issue, is the whole question of universal suffrage. Whether everybody should be allowed to vote or using the old delegate system. There is obviously a large number of people who feel that the delegate system has been abused in the past and manipulated.
With the process of suspension initiated, Kenya's 2 wildcards' participation at the Olympics is in jeopardy.
FINA must have an understanding of the position that we are in, and I'm trying to put forward the fact that it is also an Olympic year. We want to send our swimmers to the Olympics. But also we have to comply with local law.
Whatever looked like opaqueness in the past will be a thing of the past in the new dispensation.
The deadline for those wishing to via the elections lapsed today. Moving forward, an independent body will be installed to receive nominations and run the elections. The national men's basketball team, the Kenya Morans, continued their dominance in the FIBA Afro Basketball Pre-qualifiers, by outscoring Burundi 101-83 in their fourth game played at the Nyayo Gymnasium this evening. Chris Ortega recorded 19 points, Eric Mutoro had 18 points, with Captain Griffin Lugare adding 14 points for the Morans. In the earlier games, Friday, South Sudan beat Tanzania 115-60, and Somalia saw...
All you need to know as and when it happens.
It's not been a very good morning in the country. We've had a very grisly accident.
In clear context to all the relevant issues.
Reacquire the property they've gotten with our looted money and save this country for my child and daughter Teko and the many children.
From our studios to the ground where the action is live.
Misuse of funds here in the country.
Someone donating their hat to Bernard Ojwang there.
Welcome to NTV Today. You are just
in the 42nd edition of the event held in Saudi Arabia for the first time ever. Science finished 6 minutes 21 seconds clear of defending champion Nasser Al Attiyah, who won Thursday's final that will now see that 3 different manufacturers having previously triumphed, with Volkswagen in 2010 and Peugeot in 2018. Two-time Formula One champion Fernando Alonso, competing in the race for the first time, finished in 13th place. Ricky Brabeck won the motorbike section for Honda to become the first American to win the endurance race. Well, that's all we had from our sporting desk, but tomorrow, Top Sport will not be there. It resumes next weekend as we start off this year's first episode right here in 2020. That's all. Have a lovely night. My name is Brian Otual.
NTV Sport, in association with MozartBet. SMS NTV to 29990.
Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
So much, Brian Otwal, for the sports, and that's all we had time for on NTV Weekend Edition. This Friday we have to leave because the trend is about to start, at least the second service of it, with Amina Abdi Rabar. Do stay tuned for that. And like I said earlier, we will be live from the Bukungu Stadium in Kakamega tomorrow afternoon for that Building Bridges consultative meeting happening there. And of course, the tug of war between the Luya leaders as well. Thank you so much for making time for us. My name is Edmond Nyabola. Our sign language interpreter this evening has been Flora Atieno. Good night.
This is NTV.
Be part of over 40,000 students pursuing and nurturing their career at Moi University. Enroll now. Moi University, the foundation of knowledge.
Your multi-bet is on its way to hit the bullseye. Oh, you lose one match, but only in Mozart. Mozart Refund, lose one game, get your cash back. Make a decision. Terms and conditions apply.
Kupika kila mtu ajipikie yake. Na vyombo za nani? Kwa nani?
Am I not getting some? Ice cream ya wageni.